Okay, so today, if we do nothing else, we're gonna mount that flex sensor. So my idea is to mount it right here. I'll remove this. It should sit nice right here. I gotta make sure I don't hit nothing behind here. Inside, I went and looked, and there is a wire harness right there, but I think I will miss it, or I want it to go deep enough to hit it. So some of the tools I got my regular drill, my 90-degree drill, flex sensor, of course, a couple of punches, stuff to mark the firewall, drill bits. The nail polish is just because I might be able to stick it through here and mark the firewall a little bit better. So we'll do that, get this thing set up, get it done. That way I can stop fighting this thing. So that's been probably the most challenging thing to figure out, is where to mount that thing, the flex sensor. So I'm gonna do that, and hopefully that will be done. Actually, no, it will be done today. All right, so that one fits. I'm gonna go ahead and put the adapter tool on this, press this one in, before I drill this hole any bigger, mount the flex sensor on the firewall just to make sure this hole lines up. It should, but just to make sure. So it fits good. I'm probably gonna have to actually see if I got anything I can use as like a spacer to go in between here and the firewall. There's just a small little gap, which I'll have to measure it out and see what the gap is. Put this on here like that. Alright, so we got all three of these in, threads are good. I'm gonna go ahead and mount the flex sensor, and then measure what the distance is between this and the bottom of the flex sensor, and then I'll either see if I have a spacer, or if not, I'll go 3D print real quick. But so that's the next step here. So now I'm gonna get a ruler, measure that out, see if I got a spacer that'll fit, which I think I do. And then I'm also gonna have to find a longer bolt here. So hopefully I've got one long enough to fit there. Okay, so I had to make a little bit of a change. I had to take and flip this over. Remember, the fuel lines were at the top when I was installing it. However, this fuel line right here kept hitting this brake line and the throttle cable. So I rotated. Luckily, both these holes lined up. So 2 of the 3 holes lined up. So not a big deal. The third one didn't because it's threaded. I can plug it with something. The only concern now is if this hose can make this turn and go down to the fuel filter without kinking the hose or cutting it on the back of the booster here. So I'm gonna work on that now and see if it'll make that turn. Okay, so the first thing I got to do is get this hose off of the adapter for the flex sensor, and these right here, you pull this up, it should unloosen it up, and then I'll just cut that off, and then I'll put a new one on the new hose. So let's see if the pliers I've got here. There we go. So what you want to do is take and stick the one end of the pliers here and the other one underneath it, and then it'll pop up. Take the fuel line. Alright, so I don't have the right hook clamp, so I'm going to have to order it. Should be able to get it here the next day or two. No big deal there, and get them on Amazon. But I can still go ahead and test fit this here. So I'm going to do that, and then all I got to do as soon as that hose crimp comes in, I can put it on, and the flex sensor will be mounted. So not too bad, pretty straightforward and easy. Hopefully the hose lines up and fits properly so I don't have to mess with it anymore, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it out now. Alright, time to run this fuel line. All right, I think that'll work. I think if I put some shielding around this, it should be fine. And then it's got to just go to right here. Put it like that. And that should be fine like that, I think. So once the crimps come in, crimp that off, and then I'll fuel other fuel. I'm not gonna worry about towing the motors in, but pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So. Good morning, welcome back to RHD Godzilla. So today I'm going to continue on with getting the hose onto the flex sensor from the other day. I ended up getting a 90-degree fitting so that it'll come out of the sensor and drop down instead of it coming straight out and going like that and hitting that brake line and all that. So I ended up getting one of these. It should work. Got new fuel line, their fuel injector line. I also got the clamps came in, so we got that. We got the tool for it. Got my Allen key to take off the flex sensor. So all I gotta do is run a line from the sensor to the fuel filter, and then from here to where the fuel injectors are, and that is it. So I'm gonna get rolling on this. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is get this put onto the fuel line. Easier to do out here than it is in the car. So we gotta decide which one of these is the right size fitting. So obviously these ones here are gonna be too small. This one might work, but it might be too small as well. Yeah, it fits on there, but I think it's just gonna be just a little too small. This one here is just slightly bigger, but we'll try this one here and see. I think it'll be a good fit for it. So now what we gotta do is get this into the hose. And one thing you want to take account for is where the positioning, you want the curve. It'll straighten out over time, but as far as getting it in there, you want to get it put in there where it's going to be easier to a direct line. So you don't want to have to bend this thing. You don't have to bend this thing backwards to get it. You want it to kind of flow, if that makes sense. So I think we're going to do it like this. Just going to get it over this last little lip right here if I can. Alright, so that ain't coming off. It's all the way on. So now take the metal loop and slide it up. And I like to put the this band right here, this little clip, to where I can access it easier if I have to take it off easy. So with the sensor being like this, going into here, the firewall will be on this side, so the easiest spot to do that would be on this side of it. So I'm going to crimp it just like that. So with these crimpers, all you do is you take and get these pliers. Actually, I'm going to do it down this way a little bit so I can get onto it. Pinch it just like that, slide it up, and then just squeeze it. Just like that. Now that ain't going nowhere. So can't move this, can't move none of that. So that piece is done. I already have the white little retainers on the flex sensor, so I'm gonna pull this little retaining clip out and get it. There we go. I'll hang on to that. But so now we can go ahead and measure out, put this on the flex sensor, put the other end onto the fuel filter. Done. Okay, so the first thing I gotta do is take off this hose here, and then I can run the new line up to here. So let's do that. Get a screwdriver here. Okay, so now I'm going to put the clamp on, just because I don't want to take this thing back off. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so alright, so hopefully this works out like I think it will. So this will slide over this like this, and then I can drop it down to here. I need to get a set of proper hose cutters, but these will work. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen up this bolt right here. Try and rotate this thing this way to give it more of a direct line, and then hopefully I can help me get this line on a little bit easier. So it should be a 10. Yeah, just the hose. Well, now it's got the plastic piece that's designed for 90 degree to go right down into here. So we're good on that. Oh, and I got a little kink on my hose down here. Okay, well, I got to rethink that, because now you probably can't see it. So I'm gonna have to rethink the way I have. So I'm gonna have to rethink the way I have this line coming in, because if you can see, this hose is kinked, and I don't think I can do anything about it because of the way that this angle goes out that way. So I'm gonna have to take this back off, rotate it back the other way, and just have a little bit of a I guess it's sticking out a little bit like this. So, well, that sucks. That was a little bit of work. Okay, I had to loosen this back up so I can take it off, or loosen this bracket and rotate the fuel filter back the other direction again, because unfortunately it caused, like I said earlier, it caused that kink in that hose there. So that won't work because I won't get no fuel. So I'm gonna loosen this back up real quick. Okay, as you can see, there's no more kink in this hose. It was pretty bad, so I just had to, which is still loose, but I had to loosen everything up, rotate it, rotate the filter to where this curve right here aligned better with the actual frame of the car, where the fuel lines go. So bad thing is it's going to cause this to kind of pop out a little bit, but it's not too bad. I was just hoping to keep it closer to this line right here instead of it coming out, but it's all right. It's not the end of the world. Just not as clean as I was wanting it to be. I probably do need to take this clamp off and rotate it around a little bit as well, so that way if I need to change the fuel filter, change fuel lines or whatever, take them off, I can actually get to it with a screwdriver with the motor in the car. So I'm gonna do that real quick, put everything back on. It should be good. I'll actually do this here in a minute. The clamp. I'll do that once it's done. I'm gonna go ahead and get this all put back together. So let me get. All right. So we got the 90-degree from the flex sensor, runs down into the fuel filter, and then of course into the fuel lines there. So everything's in when it comes to the flex sensor, other than this line right here, but I got it made. I just have to, when the motor goes back in, it'll go back on. So not too bad, just a little bit of a pain down in here trying to get this positioned correctly. If it wasn't for this bottom hose right here, it would have been a much cleaner install, but it happens. It is what it is. So it's in, it's functional, so that's the important piece. Okay, so that's it for installing the flex sensor. Wasn't too bad, other than just trying to find a position for the flex sensor itself. So I just had to keep going in and out of the car to, make sure I wasn't going to drill into any wiring harnesses, lines, heater cords, or any of that kind of stuff. So got that installed. Got the fuel line ran much cleaner than it would have been. So that's done. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Help make the channel better. Appreciate it. Thank you.